Hey guys, I'm Flávia, and today me and my group are going to talk about the streaming revolution in the entertainment industry. That old habit of watching TV, or how we used it to listen to music a few years ago, that all has changed since the streaming services came around. We don't need to wait to see if the movie that we liked on the theaters is already out in DVDs, and we also don't need to visit the record stores to see if the album that we were waiting for to be launched is already out. We now have all of that in the palm of our hands. The internet changed our habits. We now don't need to go out of our ways to find high value productions. We are living in the streaming era. First, we need to talk about what is the streaming service. Streaming is the instant transmission of audio and video files through the internet. This allows us to watch movies or listen to music or whatever type of content we want without having to download it. We watch it through a server on the internet, making it all easier to have access to said content. There's two types of streaming: streaming on demand and live streaming. We'll start with streaming on demand. So the streaming on demand is when the content that you are consuming is saved in a server somewhere and you have access to it through a website or an app. That's what happens when you watch a movie on Netflix or you listen to a song on Spotify. And the live streaming is when the transmission is happening live at the same time that you are watching it. It's kind of like live TV that we are used to. This type of live stream has been really popular recently on social media, like on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch, which is a website just for live streams. With the growth of internet here in Brazil, more people have access to it, so the streaming services are able to deliver to the most diverse mass. So in a pre-planned cost of production, depending on the viewer or the project needs, the service allows the live transmission of video and audio files. It doesn't matter if it's for entertainment or for online classes, for example. This concept has already become the new trend. Gaining more popularity every day, it's already seen as the future of media distribution. The streaming service gave people access to content that they couldn't see before, or it was just very expensive or very hard to obtain. Entertainment content used to be really expensive, so the streaming services also brought the opportunity of dodging online piracy. Production companies and content creators all over the world already have streaming as one of their main distribution outlets, reaching a vast majority of people and also achieving great profit with it.
I'm not usually one to follow the crowd, but I couldn't help myself. Like 10 million other people, I signed up for Disney Plus the day it launched. I was blown away by the whole experience. The sheer wealth of quality content available on the platform is amazing. And you get all this for $7 a month. Another way to look at this is that Disney Plus is giving you thousands of hours of top-tier entertainment in exchange for about 18 minutes of work at the current average wage in America. This is going to sound like a paid ad, and I promise you it's not, but this seems like an insane amount of value for less than the cost of a Burrito Supreme combo at Taco Bell. I know some people are overwhelmed by the idea of adding yet another service to Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and all the smaller streaming apps out there. But I'm still just amazed that when I was a kid, we literally had to rent a VCR along with 2 or 3 movies we could get on VHS from Blockbuster or Hollywood Video. And now just about anything I've ever seen or ever wanted to watch is available at the click of a button for almost nothing.
If you want to watch it first weekend, maybe it won't be available first weekend. But then if you want to watch it, you'll pay more, and then as it goes to another stage in its release, it'll become less expensive. But there's a lot more adoption that has to happen, technologically speaking, right now before people can watch movies, or at least integrate it in terms of the PC and web connection. The technology's not quite there yet, but it will be within, I would say, 5 years.
Affleck was exactly right. Only it wasn't the big studios that figured out how to deliver movies and TV shows right into people's homes. They dragged their feet, standing in the way of progress the same way they did when the VHS format first came out, worried that streaming movies was going to destroy their business. Instead, the astounding wealth of home entertainment options we have today are the result of entrepreneurial startups working totally outside the existing system. Over the next several years, competition from Netflix and Redbox start to eat away at Blockbuster's profits, and by 2005, the company had lost 75% of its market share. It's the beginning of the end. Remember Ben Affleck's 5-year prediction? It's just about to come true. As new companies like Netflix create superior methods of bringing entertainment into people's homes, older companies like Blockbuster have to become more innovative themselves or be destroyed by their competition. Meanwhile, Netflix was busy crushing everybody in the home entertainment space. As of 2010, Netflix had what some of you might think of as a natural monopoly based solely on what's called first mover advantage. It figured out the technology and user experience before anyone else, so for one hot second, it had no true competitors and became a multi-billion-dollar giant. Without government suppressing competition, Netflix had no way to maintain its temporary hold on the streaming market. Other companies caught up real fast. Furthermore, let's try to keep all this stuff in perspective. When I was a kid, a basic cable package cost around $30 a month. That was when the average wage in the US was about $8 an hour. So back then, 1 month of spotty, limited cable cost almost 4 hours of labor for the average person. Much, much more if you wanted channels like HBO or ESPN. Adjusting for inflation from $1985 to $2019, basic cable used to cost around $73 a month. The cost of a basic cable package without add-ons today is a heck of a lot lower than that, but it's still more than Netflix or Disney Plus. In fact, if you subscribe to every major streaming service at the same time, which I pretty much do, you'd still be paying way less money for a vastly superior product.
Hi, it's Mário here. I will talk about YouTube in the streaming universe. Internet not to be left behind in the growth of subscriptions music streaming market. A technology and Google launched a music version of the YouTube video site, composed by Google in 2006, which will now play a role in performance as companies streaming music, Spotify, Deezer, and Apple. The video below shows all this technological prehistory.
Since the dawn of the internet, there has always been a strong demand for video content, and in the early days, this content was scarce. It was possible to upload, watch, and share videos in the early days of the internet, but it wasn't easy. In fact, it was actually rather difficult. First, you have to realize that the internet has been commercially available since the 80s, and if you know anything about 80s and 90s internet, you know that at this time, snail's pace dial-up was the norm. This was the primary entry hazard as far as the hindrance of video sharing in the early internet. It simply took way too much time to upload and download video files. I'm talking 20 minutes to load a 2-minute video in some cases. Another entry hazard being digital format cameras suitable for uploading videos were not as common as they are today. It sounds crazy, right? But really, in the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s, your average person was not filming videos with digital cameras unless they were an amateur filmmaker or a college student. It just wasn't common practice to video record everything as it is today. Now in the smartphone era, we record almost everything. And the final reason why videos were difficult to be shared in the early internet, there simply was not a well-designed video hosting platform like YouTube. Now don't misunderstand me here. There were video hosting websites that existed, just not as user-friendly as YouTube is. Once broadband internet became popular in the early to mid-2000s, so did the rise of more powerful camera-equipped cell phones. This meant now pretty much anyone with a cell phone had the ability to make a video and could save it to a SIM card, then upload the video onto the internet shortly after using their lightning-fast broadband internet. So this sounds great, right? But it gets even better, because a few keen entrepreneurs who were former PayPal employees saw this perfect storm brewing, and in the year 2005, they create YouTube. Now all these people with cell phones and broadband internet have a user-friendly website to upload their family vacation and pet videos. Nobody would have expected the massive success that YouTube has enjoyed. From humble beginnings, shaky, grainy cell phone recorded videos with no editing whatsoever, to studio quality productions with paid staff, directors, and writers. People literally making millions of dollars uploading videos to the site. The slogan, "Broadcast yourself," inspiring the average person that they too could become the stars they'd always dreamed of being. And as long as they had the talent, a camera, and the drive to make something truly special, they could do it. YouTube created an alternative route to the stardom, and more importantly, an alternative to television. We've seen many different eras of content creators, trends, styles, and drama throughout the years here on YouTube. And in this video, we're going to be taking a walk through over 10 years of YouTube community history and define time periods by attributes associated with them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the evolutionary history of YouTube.
YouTube has always been seen a major competitor for these services and also for the music history, which for years struggled to remove the site from songs that were regularly placed on videos. According to International Federation of the Phonography Industry, the time spent listening to music on the YouTube video platform is already twice much as streaming services combined. The largest, Spotify, has more than 75 million paying subscribers, while Apple Music has about 30 million. In October 2009, YouTube exceeded 1 billion views viewed per day. In the following year, the site gained one system of channels called like, but the rental of movies consolidates itself in the streaming market. YouTube today is very different since 2005, with the visit video at the Zoo, the first upload on the platform. A culture of YouTuber was created and several influences nowadays on the social network use. There were already different stages and the fashions, type of makeup channel, recipe, Minecraft, rock, and humor. Several of them have passed, but have left many famous and relevant people to this day.
Hi, my name is Julia, and I'm going to talk a little about Netflix. Netflix was founded by Reed Hastings, who is a mathematician and computer scientist, and also by Mark Randolph, who is a marketer and entrepreneur. This all happened in 1997, so it's been more than 20 years. They first met was at Atra Software. This company was the first company founded by Hastings, and the company was responsible to the control and the identification of bugs and development and develop control for more complex softwares. And Rudolph assumed the marketing director position. So after that, they start talking, and the market that they choose to act was the move rentals market. With this market now in United States worth more than $60 billion. So there's more than $60 billion in the United States. There was only one problem. The VHS tapes were too fragile to dispatch it by post. So after some time, this problem was solved because they heard about the DVDs. That was an innovation in the market movies. So the DVD was perfect to shipping. It was light, it was small, resistant, and fitted in envelope. So with this, DVDs, the business logic would be perfect. So the service that they offer in first place in Netflix was to the user enter in an website and select the title that he want to see. The DVD was sent by post, and the subscribed kept the disc for as long as he want. And it was after that it was also returned for free of charge by post. So all of this service cost for the user only 50 cents for each DVD cents. This value was the equivalent for the shipping cost, so it wasn't fees and extra charge. So the possibility of the user to receive multiple DVDs at home at the same time, it was according to the plan who the user that the user select when he subscribes. With this idea in hands, they start to look for investment, and the initial investment that they need was equivalent to $2.5 million. It was equivalent to almost 100 titles of DVDs and 13 employees to work in the company. So in the same time, Hastings sell her software, sell the Hastings company. Hastings sold his company for 1,700 million of dollars, and they got an funding from Steve Kahn. So in April, Netflix was starting their operations on the internet in 1998. This model was suffering a lot of modifications. In 2007, the streaming model began to be used in conjunction of the rental of DVDs, and only on the middle of 2011 they separate this business. So they start the name Netflix just for the streaming model, and in this time the Netflix start to range. From 2008 to 2010, the company focused in establish partnership with electronic manufacturers so that their content could be transmitted on their own other devices such as video games, smartphones, tablets, and connected TVs. As of 2010, Netflix started its expansion process, starting in Canada and then Latin America, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and Japan. In Brazil, the company started its actives in 2011, And today the service is present in almost all the countries in the world. Um, there are more than 119 of them, and only 3 of them do not allow to access the content, such as places there where the US government imposed restrictions. Netflix starts the production of original content um, in 2013 with the premiere of the series House of Cards. The success was so great that in the same year the company launched 2 other series, was Hemlock Grove and Origin. Currently, they have more than 3,000 original productions. So, House of Cards won the Emmy of Best Directions in Dramatic Series in 2013, becoming the first web series to win a trophy at the biggest award in US television. In the same year, Netflix received a total of 13 nominations, 2 primes. In 1960, Netflix reached 75 million subscribers and reached almost all countries. So, according to data from the company listed balance sheet, Netflix had at the end of March of 2016 81.5 million subscribers worldwide. So in 2020, Netflix had 24 Oscars nominations, so a record for a streaming platform. Only in the main category, two films, The Irishman and History of a Reading, among 9 nominees. So that shows how strong the platform was in the production of good content to the entertainment area. So the Netflix effect, that was called the decline of the TV, the program who passed on Open TV, is more evident to the broadcasters. So sometimes these broadcasters see streaming service as a threat. So they also see as an opportunity. What is certain in all of this history is that the expansion of technology has taken broadcasters out of their comfort zone, and now concerned with the future of their business model. So the industry's histories began with open channels based on advertising revenue. The second phase was that of cable and satellite channels, and the origin was in the United States in the 80s. So since then, it has gained space in other markets. The source of revenue in the second phase was subscribers, so also advertisement. When streaming came, it was taken for granted that it had come to end its harmony, and also called mature markets, that of rich companies. Expressions like cord cutters, a reference to cable TV consumers who cancel the service, become popular. In Brazil, unfortunately, we do have research data to better understand the movements of the local market, but when we can consider the indications, the main Brazilian network, Global, is investing heavily in ads and in streaming, the famous Global Play. Besides them, Records create the Play Plus. SBT announced the SBT Play for 2020, and in practice, what is happening is that the video streaming space become increasingly crowded and offering consumers more options than even before, the making it difficult to differentiate offers in the market. We certainly experience a unique moment, the explosion of odds over the top companies that is of video streaming. So some market data confirm this explosion, and according to the e-market, by 2022, the number of odd subscriptions in the US and users of streaming service will reach almost 100.7 million service users. The global odds market is expected to reach $332.5 billion by 2025. That's all about streaming and Netflix. We prefer to talk more about the Netflix company because it's the most famous, but in other that we have a lot of companies growing in this market, and we should consider and search for all these opportunities that we have about having new content and entertainment. Thank you.
In April 2017, Netflix hit a milestone when it reached 100 million subscribers. That's more than any over-the-top streaming network, including Amazon Prime and Hulu. Netflix is currently available in over 190 countries. Half the subscribers are in the US, where roughly 50 million people have joined across the 50 states. Founded in 1997 by Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph in Scotts Valley, California, Netflix began as a mail-order DVD service. Instead of going to a local store like Blockbuster, Netflix delivered entertainment right to your door. 10 years later, after delivering its billionth DVD, Netflix expanded into internet video on demand. What they offered was a revolutionary new way of watching TV. Instead of airing episodes weekly, viewers could consume an entire season in one go, what is now known as binge watching. Thanks to this new model, some shows that struggle to attract an audience week in, week out managed to avoid cancellation. The most famous example is Breaking Bad. Creator Vince Gilligan once said,
"I think Netflix kept us on here."
Improvements in streaming technology and a rise in the use of handheld devices helped Netflix's growth, as did the platform's vast library of films and TV shows. But there was one problem: none of the content belonged to Netflix. That meant the company wasn't just paying the original network for each show, but they also had no guarantee they'd be able to keep the rights forever. Their solution? To go from streaming TV to creating it. Netflix's first original show, House of Cards, was launched in February 2013 and made history later that year by becoming the first online-only television series to receive an Emmy nomination. With Kevin Spacey starring and David Fincher directing, it also showed that Netflix could attract top Hollywood talent to work on a web TV series. By 2016, Netflix grew to producing around 126 original programs a year, from children's cartoons to feature-length documentaries. So far, they've won 147 awards, including 1 Oscar, 55 Emmys, and 2 Golden Globes. Netflix are no longer the only players in the game. Other on-demand services have developed original programming, while networks like HBO have created their own online streaming services. So how will they continue to stand out from the crowd? The company plans to more than double original programming by the end of 2017, expanding native language and unscripted content. Beyond that, they could even one day venture into live TV, covering everything from concerts to sports events. Whatever the future holds, one thing is certain: Netflix has changed the way we watch TV forever.
Hi, my name is Clara, and this part on this video, I go to talk about the moment that we are passing now and how streaming platforms doing success during the quarantine. There are many isolated people at home. The entertainment alternatives decrease because to the closing theaters, movies and malls, but the phenomenon caused subscription TV and the streaming platforms to increase their audience, creating alternatives to invest in new customers and even renew the old ones. Several cable TV companies started to free most channels for those who were already customers, and they carry out promotions of plans that include the benefits, reducing the monthly about 30% for new customers. The measures were seen as companies' empathy with isolated people, but in addition, the method was a good market ploy. Netflix, such as, reaches the mark of 16 million subscribers worldwide during the pandemic. It doubled the goal of new subscribers. Besides, spending cuts have hit Hollywood hard. Funds have been cut and the new productions postponed. Even so, Netflix's stock rose again and reached a new milestone, about $458 each. In another example is the Global Play platform is also preparing for the growth in demand. Globo's streaming recorded last weekend the platform's best numbers this year. Not to mention the range presented by HBO Go, Amazon Prime Video, etc. And now I'll go to talk about the new quarantine phenomenon, the lives. Nowadays, just open the Instagram or YouTube app. We can see hundreds of lives happening at any time of the day. The artists and singers saw these resources as a way not only of approaching the public, but also of monetizing their home shows, many of them in favor of institutions in need help. The monetization of content, however, only through YouTube, which has always worked with the financial return on top of the views each video or live. As an example, Gustavo Lima's live, which had over about 10 million views, and the platform's turnover was 100,000 reais, not counting the tons of food collected and donations to institutions. In another case, the singer Marília Mendonça has a similar story. Wearing a flip-flops, she sang for more than 3.3 million people at the same time in the living room of her apartment. The movement of the shows has a worldwide dimension and has already had the participation of artists such as Coldplay, Paul McCartney, etc. The other areas, besides music, are also investing in lives, whether on YouTube or Instagram, with the gyms closed. Personal trainers reinvented classes by producing live videos. For example, in abroad, the trend is also seen in the most different activities. In the UK, the ballet company English National Ballet broadcasts classes live on YouTube. In the USA, the Philadelphia Zoo, the oldest in the country, has been doing live interactions on Facebook to talk about the animals and answer questions from the public. Even Pope Francis broadcast the traditional Easter Mass over the internet. According to researchers, the live Easter tragedy should still remain after the new coronavirus pandemic. Online concerts can be an option for artists who gather crowds, but in separate cities, through the internet, singers are able to concentrate the largest numbers of fans at once in one place, make it possible to reach a huge numbers of audience so they can monetize on the platforms. Since we are talking about the future of streaming, the predictions are that 82% online traffic on this type next year. This means that for every 10 posts, 8 of them will be for voice or image. With technologies like virtual assistant, VR or AR, classes don't have to be done in classrooms, but to create, discuss ideas, generate insights. The quantitative thinking heads makes the difference. To be ahead, it will be necessary to have a platform that offers performance and security information. The main challenge is to consolidate the delivery of content to marketplaces. The brand that offers more relevant content and from different players on the same platform will be more likely to win over consumers. With that, we come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoy it and thank you. Bye!